Got it. Okay. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also to ask me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video is entitled Race Baiting is Lucrative Marketing. When people think about race baiting, they think politically, but a lot of times, because I got a boxing podcast, I understand people race bait for money. And what I mean by that is, in boxing, it's a one-on-one sport, man on man. But a lot of times, what goes into boxing is race baiting, where this race against this race, this country against that country, this nationality against this nationality. You make these rivalries that generate crowds built on race, or this ideology versus this ideology, if you're in the same group, right? And people seem to forget that a lot of times when you can't get somebody to love you, you can get somebody to hate you. Like Muhammad Ali talked about it, where he learned from the Nature Boy, not Ric Flair, but the original Nature Boy, where when half of the crowd loves you, they're going to show up to see you win. But you got to make the other half of the crowd hate you so they can show up to see you lose. Now you fill up the stadium because you put butts in the seat. Now, what winds up happening is people don't realize that you're getting race baited to all the time, right? When you have this marketing for ethnicity, right? Okay, part of, people got mad at, quote unquote, making America great. Well, that actually in some ways marketed to a demographic of white people who, if a certain business who wasn't getting a certain amount of money from their other, how can I say this, their other groups, basically, you market to them in a way that they'll jump on the money train because now this got them riled up. The same way, it's kind of like race baiting is kind of like Comic-Con, right? Like when Black Panther came out, you got black people dressing like they ain't coming to America. Different movie, but I understood it, But then we're going to come out and support our own. And then when Aquaman came out, you had like Asian people looking at, because dude Polynesian or Samoan, and you kind of have like a multicultural kind of thought, so people could kind of see themselves in the person if they can't necessarily see themselves in the person. So then you jump on that because you backdoor, okay, if the Black Panther sold, then this can sell. Thus, you start going down the line. And people have been talking about the Hispanic population for years, growing and growing and growing. So you see more marketing to the Hispanic population, right? You don't see as much marketing to Asians as far in America, because I think because partially they have their own really markets in China and Japan that wind up gravitating over to America, because a lot of times that's one of the issues even with the animation is we're trying to figure out why Asians look so white. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't look Asian, you look white. But I guess that's their way to market to get to both places. So that's one of the things about, race baiting is lucrative marketing. So then you wind up getting sponsors and can sponsor certain products, because a lot of times people race bait out of insecurity or fear. So, when you're dealing with something fear-based, you tap into an emotion, whether you like it or not. Whether you tap into hatred, you tap into an emotion, whether you like it or not. So you kind of can put a product out that, okay, well, you hate the same people I hate because, we rocking the same product, the same colors, we're into the same type of things because you were marketed to in a specific way. So now you build a growing market. I remember, what is the guy? Sisters was talking about this years ago. It was the black hair care line, and the dude decided to start marketing to more races and not exclusively black women. And they got on him because they felt like he was basically being a traitor or a sellout. And he's like, well, how am I being a sellout when y'all buy from these other people that don't market to y'all? Like, so I forget the name of y'all know what I'm talking about if y'all in the hair care stuff. I'm bald. I ain't in the hair care. So, but if you buy, the MAC and all the makeups and the other hair things, that's not from black folks, but they market to black folks. But when a black man decides, let me market to white folks and Hispanics and Asians, and it's like, you can't do that. So it was like they wanted to boycott them. It's like, it was stupid financially, but it was like, well, it is what it is. But that's part of race baiting to be lucrative in marketing. It's the same thing when y'all notice like the NFL, it race baits, whether y'all like it or not. Why you think it's such a big deal when you see a black quarterback and he's got to be a prototypical quarterback, and now you're seeing more black prototypical quarterbacks, and people they really holding on to Tom Brady, Big Ben, Drew Brees, even though all these guys are either 40 or touching 40, or Phillip Rivers and stuff like that. They know their run is over. So you start having this problem, because what you're accustomed to is not what you're seeing a changing of the guard, and it bothers people, right? Kind of like basketball. That was part of, people don't realize that was part of the Lakers versus Celtics. Magic versus Bird. It was like the last great, black and white rivalry, right? Magic got the best of it, but then when Jordan took it from both of them, there was no great white hype to put that onto, and that's why football is holding on to that. And if y'all realize that was the thing about baseball. That's why they shut down so many. That's why baseball became like AAU basketball a long time ago, where you got to pay to play. They got tired of poor kids beating quote unquote middle class and rich kids, and leading up to that. This is why when you look at the baseball record books, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Ricky Henderson, Roberto Clemente, basically, Willie Mays, that kind of sticks out too much, because those are records that we're not supposed to, you can't say Babe Ruth and Roger Maris now without saying, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, even Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. That's three people who are too dark. The black Sammy Sosa, not the pink Sammy Sosa. But it becomes lucrative. Same thing with music, right? People would demonize rap and hip hop, and then in the people, how you look in rap and hip hop. But if you look on the way people market, they just demonized it and put a different race on it and wore the exact same style of clothing or the same style of presentation, and then put it up that way. White dude wearing black hip hop clothes, reggaeton. I remember talking to a Hispanic, reggae, that's not rap. First of all, it ain't reggae. It's reggaeton. What is reggae? Is Jamaican, which is pretty much black. They call their rap dance hall. You call your rap reggaeton. It's still rapping. It's just rapping in Spanish. Don't stop. But you market it different because you're trying to get a different niche market, right? And people don't realize that you're getting marketed to, because we look at it like, oh, they're finally accepting us into Hollywood. They're not really accepting you into Hollywood or America or the American dream or the political system. None of that. It's like, yo, you got money and I want it, so I'm gonna act like I like you today. So this is marketed towards you. Because remember, people flipped out over the Cheerios commercial when they had the black father, the white mother, and the mixed child, and they weren't even in the same scene at the same time. I'm never buying these Honey Nut Cheerios again. Never. That was a hilarious moment, right? But people don't realize you're being marketed to. When people talk about Fox News have advertisements. CNN has advertisement. MSNBC has advertisements. People are paying for those slots. People are marketing clothing and food to those spots. People are making commercials for those spots. You see how you remember when Barack Obama was in office, how they had all these commercials and TV hosts and all these black faces in marketing, and they needed an advertisement team. That was race baiting marketing. To get your money. We got you because you got a black president. You feel so good. You're gonna spend money. It's just like going to church. They turn up the music, you start clapping, amen, amen. Now slide that collection plate right in there. So I'm done with this one. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.